Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Thursday night is in the night.
And it is a Thursday.
And it's in the night.
And it's in the night. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific Connor himself, Zealeus.
Charlie, how goes it on this rainy Atlanta Thursday night?
I didn't know for the vast majority of the day that it was actually raining because I've been inside all day.
It was surprisingly not as rainy during the day as it could have been. It wasn't until about 5 or 6 when the gates of heaven decided to open up upon us and bring the sweet cries of God upon our footsteps.
Basically, the time that you were to come over to my house.
Yes, but I did some stinky stuff at work today, so I had to go home first because it was gross. Thankfully, that's done now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into it. We're going to start off with,
Did you pour your dues?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I've done the do. Don't worry about it. Don't worry.
Sure.
I've got this. I've got
All
this covered. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the hot topic. That is, of course, the Super Nintendo Classic.
How classic is the Super Nintendo
Oh,
Classic?
it is very classic.
Very classic.
Very classic.
Is it classy, though?
That is yet to be known. And the reason why I say that is because there are a lot of people out there who are afraid that Nintendo is basically going to pull the rug out from underneath the consumer yet again, just like they did with the NES Classic. NES Classic, of course, came out, I think it was last year, for $60. Came with one controller, and you had to pay $10 to get the second controller. It lasted less than a year before they pulled it from shelves, and there were people who were still on a waiting list trying to get the NES Classic. So here's the Super Nintendo Classic. Are we going to see a repeat of exactly what this is? Now, I do have some statistics here for you to kind of give you a little bit of a heads up between the differences between the NES and the Super Nintendo Classic. And right off the bat, yes, I know there's a graphic quality update. Duh. Okay, but
you mean the SNES is better graphics than the NES?
Yes. Okay, so here's the deal. It is going to start being available on September 29th of this year, and it's going to go for the price tag of $80. So if you haven't pre-ordered it now, something tells me you're probably already too late.
And apparently the online marketers, they're already like upselling it by 50%.
Of course.
And yeah, you can already get it on eBay for like $350.
All right, so the question is, all right, so you get the Super Nintendo Classic. We know that the NES Classic only came with one controller. This time, there's two controllers.
Yay!
However, there's not a lot of two-player games on this list of things. One other thing that a lot of people have already started bitching and moaning about is the lack of length in these controllers. The wire is only 5 feet long, so it's not like you can recline. You're going to have to stay pretty close to the TV. All right, so here we go. The plug-and-play HDMI-enabled system will include the following games. All right, Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, which begs the question of, is that the real Final Fantasy 3 or the U.S. version of the U.S. Final Fantasy 3?
I believe it's the real original version is what I read online. Don't quote me on that, but that's what people are thinking.
And that's kind of like, you need more clarification there.
Yeah.
F-Zero, a very popular racing game.
Which is 2 players, though.
No, it's 1 player. F-Zero is 1 player.
You can play against people in F-Zero.
Nope. You could play an F-Zero 64 with multiple people.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
All right.
Kirby's Superstar. Kirby's Dream Course, which was the Kirby golf game.
I never played that.
Which was fun as hell. That was a lot of fun. The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. That was a must. You had to have that one on the list. If you didn't, people would riot in the streets and probably burn into No Down to the Ground. Probably not, but who knows. Mega Man X.
Another classic.
Secret of Mana.
A classic.
Star Fox.
Super classic.
Now here comes the curveball, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to give you the previously unreleased Star Fox 2.
Interesting thing about Star Fox 2. In order to play Star Fox 2 on the Classic, you had to have beat the first level of StarCraft.
No, that's Star Fox. Not StarCraft. That's totally
That'd be
different.
weird.
And I don't think the StarCraft's on the SNES.
Probably not.
Anyways, okay, so you have Star Fox 2, which is brand new, so you're going to want some of that. Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Hyper Fighting, which is basically, I think, was like the gateway drug to a lot of people's fighting. I mean, that was literally the Street Fighter.
I want to know, how many versions of Street Fighter 2 are there?
Too many.
Like, would we really have like Street Fighter 38 by now, basically?
No, but Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting was the real deal.
How many adjectives can we have in Street Fighter? That's my real question.
Don't ask, because I'm sure that they'll they'll perplex you. All right, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which is a hard-ass game. Makes me cry every single time I think about it. Super Mario Kart.
Ooh, that is a great game.
And this one, which makes me beyond happy, Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
Charlie's Heart Be Still.
Yes. Yes. One of the best RPGs by Square, period.
Would you say one of the best RPGs, period?
Like JRPG style? Yeah.
Yep.
That
I mean,
was
when
a-
I say
it was a
best, I don't
solid
mean like
game.
the number one, just the good.
No,
great
it's
game.
a solid game. I mean, solid. All right, anyway, so Super Mario RPG, phenomenal. Super Mario World. That's, you know, that's a given. I think like most of the Super Nintendos came with that packaged in it. Super Metroid,
Great game.
Super Punch Out,
Ah!
and then finally Yoshi's Island.
It's a pretty damn solid list of games, I have to say.
It is quite a solid list. Now, of course, you know there's always going to be people that are going to complain. This is only 21 games. It's not expandable, just like the NES Classic. So, but the difference between the NES and the SNES, it's abundantly clear. You have these RPGs that you can sink hours into. Earthbound, Final Fantasy III, Legend of Zelda, Secret of Mana, technically Castlevania, Super Mario RPG.
Super Metroid you could spend some time on.
Oh yeah, Super Mario World you can spend.
Well,
time
and
on.
Mario Kart has infinite playability, technically.
True, but there's a lot.
I think that's a pretty fantastic game list.
It is a fantastic game list. Now the question is it worth $80? Well, if you were actually able to get the system
For $80.
at the retail price and not pay the jacked up whatever price,
Here's my
would you
opinion.
go?
For $80, yes. I would buy this because there's definitely games on there I would totally play. I never had an NES or Super NES.
Mhm.
So these games that are classics, I never got to play. Like, I missed this generation of games. I only had a PC at the time.
Mhm.
So the NES and the SNES, that's a missed generation of games for me.
Mhm.
Like, I know of them. I mean, I hear of them obviously from you and other people.
Right.
But like Super Mario RPG, I want to play. Final Fantasy, I want to play. Secret, like these are games I want to actually play in their original form. Now, the thing going to your original question, I'm never going to see this for $80 because Nintendo's already come out and said this is going to be like the NES Classic.
Mhm.
Don't expect an extended run or efforts are concentrated solely on the Switch. This is going to be around for like a year. Like this is not. If you don't get, like Charlie said, if you don't get the pre-order for $80, you're not getting this for $80 because it's not going to be on the shelves very long. What about you? What do you think? I mean, I already know you have your SNES. You probably own most of these games.
So I don't own most of these games. I have played a ton of them. Now I will say this: if there ever was a classic video game bundle, this would definitely be at the top of my list. However, as soon as this information broke,
Mhm.
something that you have talked about several times is there has been a huge uptick in people going, but I already have my
SNES.
my Pi.
Oh, my SNES Pi.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it's pretty trivial to build both the NES and SNES Pi to emulate these games.
Yeah, because it's not a lot of.
You can actually do N64 apparently, but it's really tricky. But yeah, all these games you can emulate them already. So that's like you said. You know, the reality is, if Nintendo had done this like 2 or 3 years ago, before the Pi was so prolific and easy to use, well, as I think about my own argument, it really doesn't hold water because they're selling hotcakes anyways. And the reality is, Nintendo is doing their usual case where they're basically, putting out a piece of hardware that everybody wants. Like, everybody wants this damn console. Like, people will buy it. People will buy it for their kids. People will buy it for themselves. I mean, this is a great piece of hardware. If you got kids in the house, say 10, 12, 13-year-olds, I mean, you can hand them this device. You never have to worry about them being online, playing with a-holes. They just play these great single-player, multiplayer games. They got kids. You can play, just sit 2 controllers and play Mario Kart. Have fun. This is a great set of consoles to hand to anybody who wants to play video games. And I get that Nintendo doesn't want to devote resources to these. I totally understand that. It's still, I don't get why they don't want to put the manufacturing behind it, though. It's not like adding more manufacturing to the gateway is going to cause, like, something bad to happen to your Switch or lose resources on it. That's. I mean, are we going to see a N64 Classic next?
That'd be interesting. And I wouldn't even.
I mean, if you start talking the SNES Classic, now you're talking more than $100.
What, the N64 Classic?
Yes. Just because of the hardware required. I mean, it just simply. I mean, like, for instance, Raspberry Pi, $35. That can't really run in N64 very. It's not. Unless you really know what you're doing, don't even try.
Mm-hmm.
So it's now you're talking more for the hardware. So I would just, you saw the NES Classic was $60, right? Or is it 80 also?
No, it's 60.
Yeah, so
but remember, it only came with one controller, so really to have that second one was $70.
True. I mean, you're just kind of talking more money, so I would not be surprised if the N64 Classic came out for the thing that would cost more. Now I wonder, already start trying to speculate, what is Nintendo going to do after this? Are they going to do the combined NES and SNES Classic all as one device? Who knows? Basically, they have two chips on the board, obviously.
Yeah.
Probably not. What do you think? How do you feel?
Like I said, I think that I'd probably end up just, going the shadier route and get an emulator. I mean, if I was ever to support something, this would definitely be the one that I would jump on board. But
well, I think another thing you pointed out too is one of the issues is licensing. And you look at all these titles. I mean, a lot of our Nintendo first titles or like Square Enix, very easy publishers to be like, hey, yeah, we want to use your rights. It's not like you're getting some random esoteric games that maybe they're fantabulous games, but who even knows who owns the publishing rights anymore?
I see.
So these are all games where it's very straightforward as far as like, okay, we need to talk to these people to make sure that we have the licensing deal going on, so everything is kosher, and we can release these games without issues.
Capcom, Konami, Rare. I think the rest are Nintendo.
It's amazing how many great, first-person Nintendo games made.
Yeah.
I mean, half these games are super.
Yeah.
In the title.
Yes.
It kind of makes me funny.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic. And to keep in the vein of nostalgia, let's talk about SEGA Forever.
SEGA.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, as many of you might remember, if you're old enough, I guess, I don't know.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
There was once upon a time a manufacturing or a console out there that rivaled Nintendo every single step they took, called SEGA. And of course, SEGA went bye-bye when it came to hardware. Now, of course, their software stuck around, and they've actually thrown some of their title characters onto Nintendo when they did was it Mario vs. Sonic Olympics or something like that. Anyways, so let's talk a little bit about SEGA. So SEGA made a humongous announcement. They're calling it SEGA Forever. And what SEGA Forever is that it's basically taking all of the SEGA games on all the different consoles, and it's going to be all of them are going to be released for free on iOS and Android devices.
For free.
Now, here's the catch.
There's always a catch.
One, not all the games are going to be available immediately. They're going to have a release schedule. Every 2 weeks, they're going to release one or more games. Two, since it is free, there's going to be an advertisement or two that's going to pop up while you play the game. However, if you want to pay, I believe it is the $1.99 per game, you remove the advertisement for that game. So each game, if you pay $1.99, you no longer have to see the ads. So let's see here. Some of the titles that are expected to be released: Altered Beast, Comic Zone, Kid Chameleon, Phantasy Star 2, and of course Sonic the Hedgehog. I think this is really interesting. I hope that they do awesome. My only question, my main concern is that all these games were back in strictly controller society. Okay,
Yep.
so there's no such thing as a touchscreen. So how are these games gonna work?
Not only that, but this is actually a pretty good analogy between the SNES. I mean, we just read off those games of SNES games, and then we read off some of these Sega games. I mean, they're good Sega games, but I mean, you can pretty much call all those SNES games classics in their own rights.
Right.
And then you look at the list of Sega games, it's kind of like, okay, you had Sonic and these other games, but just the difference in libraries between the two consoles is so overwhelming in favor of the SNES, where it's
Well, I think that's because, well, the thing is that they're going to be releasing games from the Master System, the Genesis, Dreamcast, and more. And more, by the way, also means that the Sega Game Gear those games are going to be available. Now, I just read a sample of the games. There's a bunch more that are going to be out there. What I can tell you is that these games will be playable offline, and there is reported Bluetooth controller support. But once again, you're dealing with a third-party controller because your Android or your iOS device does not have a native controller that works with it. So, as someone who once upon a time was a developer that had to deal with key binding and controllers, I can tell you no two controllers are the same. There's different little quirks and variances between the controller, so you run the risk of someone buying, some Bluetooth controller and it not responding the way it should, whereas someone else who has a Bluetooth controller that looks kind of similar, works just fine. So that's the problem with third-party peripherals. You can't. That's completely out of the hands of the developers or the manufacturer.
Well, it's a good kind of corollary. So I do the robotics.
Mm-hmm.
For our competitions, there's a rule of like you have to have this hardware,
Mm-hmm.
and for the electronics, including the controllers,
Mm-hmm.
they have a very specific set of you can use only this. So for the controllers, the first season you could only use the Logitech G310 controller.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only Logitech game controller in the face of the planet you could use.
Mm-hmm.
And like Charlie said, the exact reason they did that is so when they had to troubleshoot you for helping, they could help you because everybody the same exact hardware. It's kind of almost like an Apple, where everybody's the same. Okay, let's do it. We can look at it. Whereas everybody's using different hardware. In the case of potentially controllers for the iOS device, everybody's using different controllers. How the hell am I going to troubleshoot this now? Like, I don't know. It's your own damn controller. Who knows what you did to it? That's what's going to make it interesting.
Aren't there controller style attachments that go over tablets, phones? I know that there is a joystick. Yes, there is now, but once again, it's a third party. It's a third-party controller, so yes, there are indeed controllers that will plug into your iPhone, your tablet. There was even, I don't know if this is still around, but there used to be like the suction cup, like analog
That's
sticks you could stick down. You could do. I mean, the thing is, there is no standard.
Like, none of them are supported by the publishers or developers on your iOS or Android, so that's where it creates weird quirks and it's 6 different ways that you can do it. Some of those joysticks were basically like a suction cup, and you just actually pressed on the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it was doing. So it's kind of like, yeah, and that's why you don't see like a de facto controller standard on like the iOS, for instance.
Well, if you want to get really specific, let's just take the Xbox 360 controller versus what's the Mad Cat 360 controller.
Oh, there's a difference.
There is a humongous difference, especially when it comes to the left analog stick.
Mm-hmm.
If you program, if you're a developer and you decide to program your game around with the left analog for directional stuff, but you program it with the Mad Cat controller as your baseline, you are going to be really screwed when you use an official Microsoft 360 controller, simply because the mapping is totally different. And I know that from experience because I screwed things up.
You found that out the hard way?
Yeah. Yeah. Mad Cat's controller areas is a square.
Yep.
Microsoft's a circle.
Huh.
So I was putting emphasis on the corners.
Yes.
You can't get to the corners with the Microsoft controller.
Interesting.
Yes. So.
Yeah, because the ones we deal with, it's just a pure XY axis.
Mhm.
That's all it is. Just XY. Negative
Well,
one,
because
positive one.
we were dealing with pressure. If you move it slowly to the left, it moves slowly. But if you push it all the way to the left, then he starts running.
Yeah, I get that. It's whatever your value between 1 and 0 is, that's the speed it moves. Yeah, we have to do the same thing with our.
But the problem
robot.
is those corners. You can't go 0, 1 or negative 1, 1.
Well,
you can't get to it. It's only 0.5. And so when you're doing it based off of, if it's above 0.5, your guy's going to stutter step the entire way.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So anyways,
Yes.
Wow, developer talk, my bad. Anyways, so
I actually understood what you meant that time now.
aha, so I am really excited to see what SEGA Forever will do. Now I've already heard that some people, it's like people are up here about it, people are down there about it,
Mhm.
because some of the execution about releasing the games has been kind of
For me, it's very much a wait and see.
yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
how's like a game like Golden Axe, for instance? That's
Mhm.
like games like that would be fun to try out and see. Like, okay, how is
Echo the Dolphin.
Yeah. So I have TMNT, man, The Secret of Ooze. So these are games I'd like to try and see, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely not optimistic. Unfortunately, I'm skeptical. But you never know.
All right, well, there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next one. And this one is actually really interesting, and this is something that I wish more people would do, maybe. All right, so let's talk about
An image that I have no idea what it is.
image. So this image is taken from a fan-made game called, oh my God, Installation 1. And so Installation 1 was created or is currently being created by a group of no, not installation.
Uh,
Oh my God. Not initialization. Oh my God. Ah! Zealeus, you can't spell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Installation 1 while Zealeus tries feverishly to like spell it. Anyways, so a bunch of people who are huge Halo fans decided, let's make Incubation. That's about right. They wanted to make a Halo game. Okay. Now, of course, we already know from past experience that a lot of the IP holders out there do not want anybody to touch their product.
it's very specific when it comes to making an actual video game. Like other
Or
arts,
movie.
or movie. Like other art forms are usually like, but when it comes to, you're right, movies or games, that's like no.
So, okay, so this team is making this project, and they reach out to 343 Industries, and they're like, we want to check with you guys. Any Pokemon fan game. Pokemon Uranium is the big one. That got canned.
Yep.
That after, was it like 7 years
It's
of
been for a
development?
while,
It was
yeah.
insane. Anyways, so Installation 1, the developers behind it reached out to 343 Industries, which of course is Microsoft's internal developer for Halo now that Bungie's no longer part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically got 343's blessing to continue to make their game. Now, of course, there were a couple caveats.
Oh,
You cannot sell it for profit, of course. You cannot accept any money in order to create this product, so you can't be paid for it.
Yeah.
However, if there is money going into it, and this is kind of just like a no shit moment, but if there is money going into this project, it has to come out of individuals who are like involved in the project.
Like they have to self-fund it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, of course, and then you can basically share it with the world, but you, of course, once again, you can't take a profit. Now, just to stop a ton of people going, oh, I'm going to make a Halo game. This is a one-off instance, and 343 Industries has already said it's a one-off instance. It's one of those. It's each situation will have to be looked at. It's not everyone can make Halo games now.
Halo game for you, Halo game for you.
Now, of course, I really, really like the fact that 343 Industries is allowing this to happen, because I think that there's so much, fervor and fandom in some of these universes, and there's no creative outlet, or if you try to, you get basically smacked in the face.
Well, the creative outlet, you just have to look into dark places of the web.
Right. Well, I mean, like, when you read an amazing book series, anyone and everyone's making fanfic.
That's what I was referring to.
See, but the thing is, yes, you can't sell it for a profit unless, of course, you change the names and the setting, and then you can basically make Twilight fanfic into 50 Shades of Grey and make millions of dollars. But with video games, you can't really do that. Or let's see here, Delta said the counterpoint to this is Portal fan games that Valve lets them sell on Steam, though they do make money off of them that way. Right. Okay. So when it comes to Steam, when you have a product that you're hosting on a marketplace platform, you know that the sell breakdown is usually 70% to you and then 30% to the platform provider. And since Valve is the creator of Portal, they're going to be making money off of a Portal fan game because it's they basically said it. Now, if you were to say, I want to make a Diablo 3 fan-made game and then try to sell it on Steam, that's not going to work.
Unless you're Path of Exile. Which
But
is
that's
a
not
great game, by the way.
Right, but
I know it's not. It's
that's
not actually,
what do you call it? It's
I forget who the publisher is.
creative. No. It's there's a term for it so that it's
Derivative?
like no. It's basically it is Diablo, but it isn't because there's like a creative context or some shit like that. They're not stealing assets.
Yeah.
Which is what one company out there did for I think it's like Oblivion. No, not Oblivion. One of the Elder Scrolls games. They literally tore all of the skins for the characters, all of the surface tiles for everything.
Try most Korean MMOs. You play a lot of them, and like you have like your skill bar, and like these were from like the original World of Warcraft.
But there's no
that
copyright.
Guy laughing on it over there. That's a freaking dwarf from World of Warcraft.
But the copyright's different over there than it is here.
It just makes me laugh.
But it was no. There was some like samurai free to play MMO way back when, which literally had like the musical part of one of the Linkin Park songs, and they just kept playing it over and over
Pretty sure
and
it's
over.
not allowed.
I think it's under. I think I don't know if it's if it's a fake report or not, but apparently if it's under 10 seconds, you can't copyright it. I don't know. Anyways, but it is awesome to see that this fan-made game is going to be able to continue. It's actually going to be able to be promoted, of course, just not for a profit. And of course, you can go and look at the game, and I believe there's actually a playable version on their website. If you just go check out Installation 1. Or you can just go to our website, www.ultraconfusion.com, and I've got a story right there. They'll send you the link to there.
See, things for me, like the whole like Halo phase, like bypassed me. Because like again, going back to consoles, I just never was really much into them. Even when I had the 360, I was playing like mostly single player RPGs like Jade Empire and all those. So even like Halo, they were never on my radar. So I like the idea. I think it's cool that they're letting them, make their game. I think it's a neat idea, given the parameters. But interest for me in this game being Halo, I'm just like, I never got into it. Any FPS I played, it's all on the PC. I can't do the joysticks when it comes to like first-person shooters. Doesn't work for me.
That's funny. I'm almost the exact opposite. I can't. I guess I got spoiled, or maybe I just got used to playing first-person shooters on the console. I can't play with mouse and keyboard anymore.
Sure, I get that.
I can't. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like I have more control when I have the right analog as my camera.
Well, in a way, Smite for some of the characters is kind of a FPS.
Sure. But actually, it's a
third person.
Yeah, TPS.
But that's also one of the reasons of the MOBA, Smite is actually my favorite. Because it's that kind of, I know it's not FPS like you said, but it's kind of that FPS kind of style of kind of shooting people, more action oriented. So that's why it's actually my favorite of the MOBA type of games for that regard.
Now, there was once upon a time there was two fan-made movies based off of very famous video game properties. One was Hero of Time, which was based off of Zelda. And then the second one was Mega Man, based off of
I feel like Hero of
Mega
Time played like in the theater or something.
Hero of Time was got this big push. Everyone was really excited about it. And then in the 11th hour, Nintendo goes, shut it down! You cannot profit off of our property. And they had to remove every single instance of it off the internet, blah, blah, blah. The Mega Man. And by the way, I actually saw Hero of Time.
Oh, was it?
Not bad. I mean, you could definitely tell it's amateur film people, but it wasn't bad. It had a fun story. Then you of course you had the Mega Man one. What would Capcom say? Since Nintendo just came out and basically stomped all over someone's dreams of making a Zelda fan movie, Capcom goes, "Good job, guys! High five." Now I'm going to tell you this: the acting was atrocious. With the exception of the dude who played Dr. Wily. He was nuts. But it was a cool movie. I mean, it was really cool. Sam Grizzle says, I was king 20 years ago on console. Recently tried a console and my thumbs don't work no more. It ain't like riding a bike.
Well, remember we had guys night.
There's also like a shit ton more buttons than there were back 20 years ago.
Well, when we did a get-together, we pulled out GoldenEye 64. I used to be really good at GoldenEye. Like, they have fucking Golden Gun, like, I could snipe people all day long. Then I played, and I haven't played since, like, high school probably. I'm like, I don't understand. I can't play. This is terrible. So I totally feel your pain, Sam. It's just totally different. It's just, I mean, it's still a fantastic game, but it's just, the aim is not the same. You know, you got the yellow buttons, and that's how you strafe, and you got the funky joystick and all that. It's just, yeah. I'm sure.
Just the analog stick. It's not funky.
No, but like, compared to like the other, whatever. I give up.
This is just a completely random tangent. But since you said GoldenEye, I got trapped in clickbait, and I clicked on the video movies that are no longer relevant or are now unwatchable. And GoldenEye was one of them. And I'm like, are you nuts? And then they named the movie Sneakers, and I wanted to find whomever created this list and punch him in the face, because Sneakers is awesome. What was the other one? Hackers, which was trash anyway, but no.
You have to go into Hackers with a certain expectation.
I know. They're like, ugh, look at that, it's so crazy. People wouldn't understand. I'm like, no.
I love Hackers.
I know.
Like, here's the thing about Hackers work. Okay, you have two different movies kind of the same. You have Hackers, and then you have, what is it, Swordfish?
Yeah.
So, Hackers was great because it didn't take itself too seriously. Like, I mean, you had, what's his name, being like, I am the god of the console, and doing like the 4D shit.
Yep.
Like, it was fun, but it didn't take itself too seriously. And then you had Swordfish and frickin' John Travolta and all that shit being like, we are serious hackers. This is serious business. And that's why it was so frickin' lame. And that's, to me, why Hackers actually still works, because you can take it and just enjoy it. Where Swordfish just sucks your soul, being like, I am serious hacker. That's kind of how I look at them.
All right, there's two other movies on this, and we'll get back to video games, but there's two other movies that I remember off the top of my head that, seriously, whomever wrote this list, I'm going to find you, I'm going to hunt you down, and make you change your mind. I'm not going to hurt you because that would be bad. That would be wrong. No.
Well, the Stern talking.
Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. No, you don't touch Indiana Jones.
Did they prefer the new Indiana Jones over the Temple of Doom?
No, they basically just said Indiana Jones is now irrelevant. I'm like, no, it's not.
Indiana Jones is timeless.
Exactly. And the final one, I know I understand some of the context for this final one, but this one, to me, I love this movie. I will never... Can I join you on your hunt?
It's a group hunt.
The last one, and it's a classic for me, and that is Blazing Saddles. Yes, there was a lot of like racist overtone in there.
That's probably why they said that, I'm guessing.
But come on, I mean, James Bond in space, Moonraker, unwatchable today, ridiculous back then, and I love Bond.
Okay, so how about the reverse? Are there movies that have actually got better with time? Where, you know, we're talking about movies where, like, you know, they don't quite stand the test of time, maybe. What about movies that have done the reverse? Where nowadays you can go back and watch, like, man, that was a great movie that back in the day was lame.
See, I don't think that that's possible. I think that it's more than likely to, you were young and when you watched the movie, so you didn't truly appreciate it, and then when you watch it later, like, oh,
that's fair.
This was good.
I can see that.
Now, I don't think, you know, it's not a fine wine or cheese. I don't think that movies can, like,
age with time.
Yeah. I mean,
man, that dialogue is so much better now.
Some of them can basically, you know, keep, you know, if you're the right type of person, there's some movies that are completely timeless. Doesn't matter when or where you watch it, it's gonna be awesome. And I know I'm gonna piss off some people, but I'll tell you this: for some reason, people keep voting this movie as the #1 movie of all time, and I disagree.
Titanic?
No.
Avatar?
No. Citizen Kane.
I don't think I've actually seen Citizen Kane.
It's terrible. Don't watch it. Just no.
No, but see, I don't really enjoy serious movies. I want boobs, guns, and muscles. Is that too much to ask? That's all I want in my movies. Explosions. The more things, not James Bay type of pointless explosions. I'm talking like
Michael Bay, dude. Michael Bay. Who the hell is James Bay?
Rosebud.
It's his sled. There, I saved you 3 hours.
What?
That's Citizen Kane,
Oh.
he's on his deathbed going, Rosebud!
Yeah, like Fast and Furious explosions. Those work well. I want to watch Vin Diesel with his large pecs move muscles on ice.
They said the original Fast and Furious is not watchable anymore.
Okay, I'm going on the hunt too. This is.
Let's do this! Lynch mob! I mean, let's have a peaceful gathering and find the individual who is dumb enough to put this list out there, and let's tell them the errors of their way.
I think I know a movie for me that's actually got better
What's that?
the more time has gone on.
What's
And it's sad because I can't remember the name, but it's the Vin Diesel one with the aliens in it, though.
Riddick?
Yes, Riddick. For me, that's a movie that I think, I don't know if better is necessarily the right term, but I've actually enjoyed it more as time has gone on. To me, that is a movie that stood up very well for me.
Oh, I love the whole Riddick series. I know that a lot of people have an issue with the Chronicles of Riddick because of the weird necronomic whatever's. Delta, could you put an archived image version of this list on the website so we can laugh at it? If I can find it again, I will. I'm going to write myself a note. Where's my pen?
The one you threw at me?
Yep.
Oh.
I'm going to find this unwatchable list.
So here's a question. All right, so going back to movies. Why is it, like, let's just say a Zelda has not been made into a movie yet? Because you know they've had tons of offers. For everybody, like, let's make a freaking Zelda movie. Why not? It could be so freaking cool.
Because Nintendo's still reeling from the Mario Brothers movie.
This is very possible. Yes.
If you were to look at Nintendo's original IP, the movie that has the best chance of, video game that has the best chance of becoming a movie. Okay, seriously, ask them? No, that's not even funny. Zelda by You Bowl? No.
Okay, we found a new person to hunt.
No.
We will.
No.
I will hunt you down and promote violence. I don't care.
First of all, I think You Bowl has been banned from the U.S. Second of all,
I think he stopped making movies, actually.
yeah, I think someone finally pulled the plug. Bring it.
Bring it on! That's a great movie, too. I'll watch it all day long.
Okay. Anyways, what was I talking about?
Okay,
Shit.
yeah.
What was I talking about?
We were talking about Zelda movie.
Oh yeah. Okay, so from all of the original IPs that Nintendo has, the game that would probably have the best chance of becoming a movie has got to be Metroid.
Yes, because there's a story there. It's a badass. I mean, who doesn't like seeing a totally badass chick take out like aliens and kill? I mean, well, I guess aliens could technically be a version of Metroid. Really, if you think about it.
Samus is basically Ripley.
Okay, we're
Boom, done. All right,
I have to rewatch Aliens now. I'm gonna see it a whole new light.
Oh,
Well, there's the new Aliens coming in movie, which I probably not.
I
gonna
heard
see.
that people are trashing it. They're just kind of like, no.
It's not the same unless you got Sigourney Weaver as your main actress. She's badass.
Yeah. All right.
Moving on.
Let's move on. Let's do our little next week on Game Theorist, Film Theorist. Yes.
Hey, if it's nerdy related, we will talk about it.
Seriously, if you do have one of these like debates or questions, just hit us up, and we'll put it in next Thursday. This show is for y'all. Let's see, a movie where the main character spends 5 hours retracing their steps because they couldn't find the freaking door to go through. Metroid.
This is fair. Yes.
Touche.
That's basically any puzzle map game for me. It's like,
Let's
I
be
don't know
honest.
where
Like
it went.
it's basically the blueprint of you're in an alien environment. The main door that you probably need to go through is locked. You have to survive.
Well, here's the thing but Metroid was also, it was almost like, in a way, kind of a follow-up to Zork.
Mhm.
In that, so if you ever played Zork, you almost had to like draw so if people know what Zork is, basically it's a text-based adventure game.
Which means that there was no pictures.
It was just text. It was crazy.
You had to read.
And you had to type lots of stuff. And basically, in order to beat it, you almost had to like draw like a map grid of like where you're going, or buy one like off of a BBS or go to like somewhere.
BBS is a
bulletin board system.
Thank you.
You had to use your cable modem that made funky noises, and then your parents would pick up the phone and you get disconnected. And so you had to kind of draw a map of where you're going so you could retrace your steps. Metroid could become very much the same thing, where like Axel points out, it's very easy to get lost in that game. And so it's not uncommon to see kids at school, well, maybe us, because a lot of kids didn't play it back then, but you'd have like the notebook full of like, okay, this is this level, this is this level, this is this level, so you could like figure out where you were in the game, because it was so nuts.
Yep. I have those journals for a couple of games. I have one for one of the King's Quest. where you're in the desert and you literally, if you want to survive, you have to draw out a map of the desert.
Will you die in the desert otherwise?
Yeah.
Nice.
You'll get lost forever.
That's
And then
what
it goes
happens in the desert.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little bit about Extra Life. Extra Life, of course, is a phenomenal charity organization that basically raises money for the Children's Miracle Network. All the Confusion has been doing this, I think this is our 5th year, and all the proceeds that go to, that we get through this go straight to the Children's Health Care of Atlanta, CHOA. So if you have a couple dollars, please donate it to Extra Life. We would love if you would donate it to the Alter Confusion team, but if you have a friend who's also doing Extra Life, by all means, the money goes to children. What can go wrong? And also, if you're looking for a little extra incentive, it is a tax write-off. So.
Tax deductibles. Yeah.
But we, of course, every single year there's a huge Extra Life event that happens around in November, and that's a 24-hour game-a-thon. Alter Confusion, once again, will be doing the 24-hour game-a-thon. Let's see how much or how close Charlie can get to the edge without losing his sanity. Or perhaps he will this year.
Who knows? That's part of the fun. It's like watching a ticking time bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Can it be diffused before the end is nigh?
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, let's talk about MOBA.
MOBAs!
MOBAs! All right, so I have 3 there, and I know there's a ton more, and I apologize about how many I've lost. Here's the storm. Yes, I know.
But Blizzard doesn't call it a MOBA, so.
Yeah, it's not MOBA, man. So I've listed Smite, League of Legends, and Dota 2. It's basically the top 3.
Of course, well, anyway.
It's not in the right order, okay? Smite is actually in the 3rd slot, okay?
Well, no, I put HOTS ahead of Smite in terms of popularity.
And actually, if you look at the thing, Smite is just edged them out.
Okay.
But, okay, so...
Anyways,
we're getting into demographics. If you were to look at the college-based level, then yes, HOTS would be above Smite. Okay. Because of the... Anyways, let's talk about MOBAs. Let's talk about a specific piece of the MOBA, and that is, and this is open to discussion, this is literally, I want the audience in there, I want Zealeus in there, of course I'll add my 2 cents, and that is the balancing of MOBA characters, plus the wonderful variety of skins.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I know that there's a lot of people out there who have their favorite gods or heroes or villains or aliens or whatever the hell they are in whatever games.
Sure.
So the question is, do you get attached to certain characters, and do you like do crazy rage fits when they tweak things?
Absolutely.
Okay, so long live the purple goat. Okay, purple goat, of course, is Keranos from Smite, and it's about damn time he got a freaking skin. Oh my god, I'm sick and tired of every other god and goddess getting a freaking skin.
So, I honestly don't play a lot of MOBA. I played all of the MOBAs. I just don't play them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to refer to my PvP-oriented game of Overwatch.
Yep.
So recently, they did a nerf to a character called Roadhog.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the premise was you threw out a chain, pulled you into him, think of like the scorpion, get over here, is literally what it was. And what it was is basically squishies. You could one-shot a squishy, which is about all the DPS classes in the game are basically squishies. And basically what happened is people in the low level tiers got really pissed off because they felt like it was a cheap mechanic to be able to basically one-shot a character. Whereas people with skill who knew how to hide from the chain, it wasn't a big deal. Or you just stood behind Reinhardt's damn shield and life was good.
Reinhardt!
Exactly. And so that, for me, I like to play, I really liked Roadhog. So for me, when he got nerfed, I was like, damn it, this is pissed. And the reason I liked him is because for someone who's a damage dealer, you didn't have to have great, I don't have very good aim in MOBA, in any game. I just don't have those twitch skills. I'm not somebody who can like, track people with a reticle. That's just not me. But you could do Roadhog and kill people in other ways, and that's why I like them. And now they've kind of taken that away. So for me, I was like, well, there goes basically one of the characters that can actually kill people with damage. Mm-hmm. So, yes, and people definitely get attached. I mean, I see it a lot on the forums. Any time a player gets, tweaked higher or lower, either way, you see it the other way around too, though, I think, where if, somebody gets a buff, people will be like, oh my god, that character's already so overpowered. Now they're going to be ultimate S tier plus. This is crazy. What were they thinking? Do these mods even play the games?
What do you think about when, and of course, once again, to the entire audience, what is your opinion, or how do you feel when, let's say that you have your favorite character, okay, like Roadhog, For me, Keranos from Smite. When you see those release notes and you see that there's maybe like 2 or 3 characters that that are getting statistics rebalanced.
Yeah.
Does it hurt you more that your character's getting touched, and let's say that it's like constantly being tweaked, versus some of the characters that just don't seem to be touched?
That's a good question. So like, go back to Overwatch, like for instance, Tracer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's been tweaked since the game it came out,
Mm-hmm.
because she's perfectly balanced. We have some other characters get like constant little tweaks here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a way though, PvP-oriented games where you have only PvP, like a MOBA or FPS,
Mm-hmm.
the balancing. I mean, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not incredibly hard because you're playing against only other people mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I think where people get really freaking tilted about, in my experience, where the most tilt
Mm-hmm.
comes from balancing characters is MMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, I was way addicted to World of Warcraft, and every screen warlocks were totally OP, man. And the thing with warlocks is maybe they're OP in PvP, but in PvE, we're playing them against the environment. They weren't anything special.
Mm-hmm.
So at least in MOBAs and FPSs, you're only balancing against each other, against only PvP characters.
Mm-hmm.
Where now going to MMOs, now you have to try to balance a character against PvP and against the environment. It's incredibly difficult.
Are you kidding? Character balance in PvP is the hardest. Players always figure out ways to do things. Exactly, that's true. And one of the ways that developers have tried to combat this, besides doing stat tweaks for characters, is they've actually they then go after items and tweak the items.
I agree. So actually, I should rephrase what I'm saying. I agree PvP is harder. To rephrase what I meant is, it's harder in an MMO in that you have both PvP and PvE to worry about. So people get tilted because no matter what you do to a character, you're going to affect not just the PvP people, but you're also going to affect people who are playing the PvE.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I meant where it's very hard to balance, because now you're affecting two completely different... You're basically affecting a
Game
human
modes.
dynamic versus a scripted environment. Two totally different things. So that's why I meant in an MMO it's harder, because you're dealing with both. So that's what I meant by that.
But you're right. Players always figure out ways to do things that were never intended, and that in MOBAs like Smite, you if you can get the right combination of items, you can seriously become OP. There was once upon a time, one of the characters in their Hercules, there was a build that basically gave Hercules, like, you could not kill him.
Mm-hmm.
He was always, his HP and HP recovery was so astronomically high that he was literally just an immortal. He couldn't do damage, but he could literally be that never-stopping meat shield.
Here's the thing I always find interesting, and this would be just interesting from a developer's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
When you see balances of characters, let's just say Roadhog really was overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
And they damaged, basically what they did is they reduced his damage of his shotgun by 33%.
Mm-hmm.
What you never see them do, well, sometimes, but rarely, it's not like, let's decrease their damage by 2% and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really see the incremental decreases or increases very much. It always seems to be like a dramatic increase or decrease either way of what they're doing. Instead, there's little incremental changes, which I just kind of find interesting.
Sam Grizzle says, Battlefield 1 has been tweaked every few months since release. Most are good, but can be frustrating when your specialty, sniper or whatever, gets nerfed. Absolutely. When it comes to Smite, what their favorite thing to do is they like to give, like, percentages. And so what they do is they tweak the percentages or get rid of the incremental percentage change and then just keep it constant and then tweak it from there, which, whatever. I'm going to be totally honest with you. The vast majority of the gods that they're tweaking and doing shit with are the gods that the pros are playing as, and I probably don't play them because they are very difficult to master. But if you master it, you become, like, unstoppable.
See, I don't know, like Battlefield 1, for instance, or, oh wow, TF2, it's been a long time since I played that. What is the Pyro update? I'm curious. I haven't played TF2 since frickin' Hatch came out.
Hats.
But like in Overwatch, at least, and probably TF2, because we have so many characters, is what the pros play are what the same as people like me play because there's only so many characters. I mean, like the characters. Let's just say like every character in Overwatch is probably every pro team's gonna have like a Reinhardt and a Soldier 76. That's just standard. Well, guess what? You see that in older normal level games too because they're just good characters. But you're right. Versus a MOBA where you have like 90, 100, who knows how many characters.
82, I think.
But do they still spy check? That's all I care about with the pyro. Can I still just go around with my damn flamethrower non-stop because the only thing I do is by killing those damn spies? I hate spies.
No, but while Delta0010 is answering that for Zealeus, I mean, I think that everyone has like when you find that character or whatever that you feel most comfortable with playing, and then people start tweaking things, or the developer's not showing as much love to that character or whatever as the rest of the game. I personally get a little bit steamed because I'm like, but I'm putting so much time into this character. Like, why would you touch it, or why aren't you showing it enough love? Delta0010 said in 6v6 Team Fortress 2 though you only see pyro, heavy, and engineer in certain situations. I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I've never played Team Fortress 2, but when Team Fortress 2, like I don't know, early days or something, it was always a heavy and a medic. That was always like.
That's the standard build. Yes.
Delta. Okay, thank you. 0010.
Well, when TF2 when it's in its infancy, yes, you had the medic and a heavy. You just sit there on the damn point, and because nobody knew how to actually kill a heavy at the time, you just sit there and kill everybody.
The medic. For the love of all that's holy, stop shooting the heavy.
Shh, you're giving away my secret.
I'm sorry, man. I've never even played the game, and I know how to beat it. God damn it.
You always kill the healer first.
It's like in Smite. You have Aphrodite, who's literally got this, like, I don't know, health stream that's attached to the god. You don't try to kill that god, you try to kill Aphrodite.
And then it's easy to kill the other.
And then you kill the other.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Duh.
Yeah, that's like every game. Yeah. It's pretty. I mean, that's basically the entire job of like a tank in an MMO is keep aggro off of a healer. Like, that's your job. If you don't do that, you don't even try playing the game because you fail life. Yeah.
But one thing that I did learn about tanks in Smite or Guardians, do not go too heavy in armor and health, because if you can't do any damage, you're still going to be screwed. Delta says, in comp, it's 2 scouts, 2 soldiers, medic, and demo. And maybe one of the scouts goes
there's the
sniper.
demo, I see it now. Yeah, the spy. Well, people who actually know how to play really well, the spy is definitely not as useful. But against people who are like, I don't know what I'm doing, you're just going backstab like 8 people in a row.
Oh.
That was fun.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's we can continue this conversation if you want to. We're going to go to the next topic. We're going to go down one more. And this one, I guess, is a little bit close to my heart. And, of course, I've been a huge Penny Arcade fan forever. Although I have not, I don't think I've actually gone to their website in years. And it's not because I don't like Penny Arcade. It's just that I have been so freaking busy that some of the stuff that I used to do all the time has now gone bye-bye. And one of the things is, remember when Google had that news page that basically grabbed all the RSS feeds and then laid it out for you?
Yes, and you just have all your I used to
Yes.
have I had like a list of comics every morning.
That's how I kept up with Penny Arcade.
I forgot about that.
Oh, it's so great. Now, of course, I'm like, oh yeah, Penny Arcade. I still haven't read it. Anyway, so one of the offshoot comics, the Penny Arcade is famous for doing offshoot comics from time to time. Of course, they've got their main focus of Gabe and Tycho, but they sometimes like to expand. One of their comics is turned into a pencil and paper RPG. Another one called Automata was basically like a dystopian. Actually, I'll just read the damn thing. How about that? Set in alternate Prohibition era America. This live action. So real quick, this comic's being made into a show, and they filmed the pilot episode, and it's gonna be shown off at Series Fest, which is in Denver this weekend, I believe. So, anyways, set in alternate Prohibition era Atlanta, America, not Atlanta. This live-action science fiction noir series, based on characters from the popular webcomic by Penny Arcade, invites you in to experience a world unlike anything you have seen. In the fictional 1930s, it is not liquor that is outlawed, but instead the continued production of highly sentient robots known as automatons. They live among us as an underclass of social outcasts, victims of human prejudice and strict laws that govern their existence.
It's craziness.
The show follows New York private detective Sam Riegel and his automaton partner Carl Swangy, who is the individual that's actually in Carl's costume is Doug Jones, who is a phenomenal actor who is like, if you ever have a movie that requires someone to wear prosthetics, this is the guy you want.
That's
Doug Jones. Doug Jones is he was Abe in all of the Hellboy. He was Pan in Pan's Labyrinth. He was the Silver Surfer. Basically, if there's prosthetics that need to be put on and acted in, this is the guy. He's phenomenal. He's also a really cool guy. I met him at a convention a couple years ago. I've actually got a signed picture from him to my wife. Anyway, so what they're doing is they're working together to solve crime and understand each other in this dystopian America. So they've got a trailer out. Of course, they're not going to show the entire pilot because, it's going to be shown in this special event. But I have to say, I am very curious to watch this. And I really hope that something big comes of this. Years ago, there was a Kickstarter to make this pilot episode happen. Apparently, they got a good amount of money and not enough to make the pilot episode, but they now have it completed, and now they're showing off at this indie fest. So, really cool, awesome. Once it becomes available, I will probably get it, just because,
Pixar, it's one of those companies where they were at the right place at the right time. There's dozens of hundreds of webcomics out there, but Penny Arcade was really right at the beginning of kind of the explosion of the comic, the online comics, and they also did it well. They had the right business sense to actually pull it off and make it work, but they just had that right timing. Some markets get saturated like crazy, and there's just not that marketplace. And Penny Arcade just the right time and right everything, and it was a good it was a good comic too. Yeah. That certainly was a big part of it.
Well, I think the thing is that first of all, they had an amazing business manager in Robert Koo, who's no longer with Penny Arcade, but he basically helped form and make those decisions to help it grow. Penny Arcade basically came around the same time as PvP Online, Chainsaw Suit, and Control-Alt-Delete.
Ooh, Control-Alt-Delete.
Now, the difference between a couple of these is that, first of all, Penny Arcade is a two-man job. You've got an artist and you've got a writer, where the other ones basically are it's a one-man show. Mm-hmm. There are certain individuals from those the comics I listed that are basically pretty antisocial and have turned off people, and then they also made some interesting or terrible decisions, or maybe even copy decisions found in other webcomics. That was their downfall. The reason why Penny Arcade, of course, is excelled at such a pace is that their fame continues to heighten, but
really when it took off.
When they decided to create a convention, a 48-hour straight convention to replace E3, basically shutting the doors to everybody, called PAX, which of course changed because you can't do 48 hours straight in a closed building, because we may be able to take some stink and some smells and stuff, but you don't want 48 hours of that.
Well, it's part of it, because when they started out, it was one of those communities, it was a comic, even before Penny Arcade Expo, yes, it was a video game comic, but it was also a community.
Yeah.
And you had all the forums, so they kind of had, and like you said, some of the other comic book artists who I think about, that's all you had. There were good comics and, they were very popular, but there wasn't a community, or if there was forums, it was maybe hosted somewhere else, but you didn't have that creator involvement. Whereas Penny Arcade really had the wherewithal, or they just wanted to do it because it was fun for them, where they had that community built in. They didn't necessarily see some of the other comics at the time.
Right. So I'm very interested to see that. If anybody in the audience is in Denver, I swear to God, you need to go see this. You
I
can
didn't
find a
know-
way to go see it.
I didn't know that they had more expos. They have like a developer expo now too.
Yes,
It's
there's-
it's right
there's a
before
PAX
one of
Dev.
yeah.
It's right before PAX Prime or PAX West or PAX CL, wherever.
That's a lot of freaking conventions.
Then they have PAX East. They have PAX South, which is in Texas, and they also have PAX Unplugged, which is the board game and
that's
card
new
game
this
one.
year.
Yep, that's in Philly, and then of course you have PAX
Australia.
and then there's a rumor of PAX UK, I think.
That wouldn't be surprising.
So, yeah, go
What?
see this show.
Wow.
All right,
They're doing things, man.
now let's talk about the wonderful resale company of G2A.
Games 2. I don't know what that
So,
stands for.
despite promises it was out of the business of reselling game activation keys, G2A is back in it.
They lied?
Yep, and is also competing directly with key resellers in their own marketplace.
What?
But here's the deal: they have they jumped out because of so much backlash about stolen keys or invalid keys or just some spooky, like, dark shit practices for keys.
Just as a quick backstory, so basically developers were really pissed off because what would happen is people would somehow get a lot of keys for a developer's game and then they would sell them in G2A, but then the developer, for whatever a plethora of reasons, never actually saw the money from those keys. So G2A would make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of a game, and the developers in some cases actually would lose money off of those games for various reasons. And so developers were really pissed. It became a high, Twitter war and all this stuff. And supposedly, I think it was in January, February when G2A pulled out. And now,
beginning July 1st, beginning July 1st, more than 200,000 registered resellers who are signed up on G2A will no longer be able to sell their keys anonymously. Similarly, G2A customers cannot conceal their location in order to get around European sales tax. So there's a lot more of your info in some way, shape, or form.
supposedly
attached to it.
accountability.
Right, it's Well, let's be honest. G2A, of course, I gave you this platform. It's the same as like Pirate Bay or any of those torrent sites. I'm not providing the illegal stuff. I'm just providing a website that people just happen to put illegal stuff on.
Well,
So this one is, I'm not physically selling the keys. However, I do take a cut because you're utilizing my marketplace, but I have no control over what's going on. Now, of course, everyone's going, we don't know if it's really you or not you because it's all anonymous. Now, of course, there's no
Anonymity.
So, once again, so now it then they can shift the blame, if any blame happens, onto the actual reseller of the keys.
Well, here's one of the problems with that.
Yep.
So one of the issues with the whole reselling the keys I was happening before is basically stolen credit cards that people are using. What do you think the chances are that these people with stolen credit cards might also have stolen identities to use at their disposal? Thank you. Yes. What do you think the chances of that are?
Oh, hi.
Yeah. So if people are using stolen credit cards, do you think they might also use these? I mean, if you have somebody's stolen credit card, guess what? You could probably use that person's information too to also use that credit card.
Right, but okay, so and of course the only thing, since you're buying it, the only thing that really matters is that you have to tell them your location, your global location, and you only really get dinged in Europe because of that sales tax, which of course is a huge. Well, actually, Europe has a huge issue with Google right now in their marketplace, which is going to be lots of money.
Yes.
But anyways, look, to be honest with you, as a person who has a lot of friends in the indie development community, I'm still not a huge fan of G2A. I understand the concept. I understand that you can definitely find a cheaper route for some of the more popular games. However, when it comes to a smaller studio or one that's just getting off the ground, just buy it from Steam or directly from them so that you make sure that they actually see the profit instead of going, well, it's a cool game. I don't know. I saved $2. Boom.
Basically, G2A managed to always undercut the publisher.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So it's like a surface band-aid to the issue of stolen keys is really what it comes down. That's the issue, is the stolen keys, and where's the money actually coming from too. So that's kind of the like, what is going on? All right,
keep going. Sorry.
So yeah, so that's what's going on with G2A. I have no idea what Charlie was going to say about Kickstarter. What? Did he have notes about Kickstarter? No, Charlie is worthless when it comes to Kickstarter. I don't know. So I dropped Charlie. All right, so I'm going to move on to Patreon then. So here at Ultra Confusion, we have been doing this for approximately 10 years or so. All the money here for Ultra Confusion comes out of Charlie's pocket, who is now left to go borrow more money out of his pocket. Move all stuff, yes. Because Charlie doesn't have any money right now. So I'm going to move all this stuff and steal it and take it upstairs to make sure you people give us more money. But seriously, we would love to have the help of people out there in the audience to help us to buy things like our microphones, our audio box over here, and other peripherals, and also for conventions. Unfortunately, we have had to stop going to out-of-state conventions due to the cost, as far as travel and hotels and tables and all that stuff, electricity, Wi-Fi. They cost money, mucho money. So hopefully we can get a little bit of help from the loving, adoring audience out there, such as Axel Film and Sam Grizzle, and
Delta and more,
to give us some little help so that we can help us to help you talk about video games and potentially other nerdy things that also happen in the world.
See, the thing is, we're not on. Okay, so as Zealeus stated, Patreon it's a monthly donation. You can put whatever amount you would like. You can also do a one-time donation through PayPal. If money's not really your thing, but you do want to help out Ultra Confusion, there are a ton of ways that you can help us out. The best or easiest is that if you see something that we've done, please share it with the world. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, or follow us on Twitch, follow us on Twitter. And then when you see stuff that you like or you want to, basically we need your help to promote what we're doing. And it's not that we can't do it, it just means a lot more to the public when an individual who's not directly connected to Ultra Confusion talks about stuff.
Indeed.
So if that's what you can do, that's awesome. If there's something else you would like to do, of course, hit us up through any of the social media stuff, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. It goes all directly to me. And then we'll just have a chat. Now, of course, if you ever have a question, a topic, a conversation starter that you want to discuss either on the Thursday Hangout or perhaps in a different setting, you, of course, can hit us up on any of that stuff as well, and we will...
There's always time to talk about video games and other great, awesome things with the audience.
Exactly. The other thing is that we do 2 streaming days. That's, of course, Tuesday and Sunday. And that is all about streaming video games. Of course, the vast majority of the time, as of late, has been Smite, because that's the game I'm really into right now. But I have, there's a couple games that I definitely need to that I've been playing as of late. Metronomicon is definitely one of them that I keep going back to.
Is that in the Steam Summer Sale?
Probably not. I don't think so. I'm not going to look. I don't look at Steam summer sales.
There's one game I'm buying for Steam Summer Sale. Dishonored.
Okay.
That's been on my list for a long time.
That's fine. Whatever. Anyways, we do Ultra Confusion to create a conversation, to start a conversation that we hope blossoms into something else. And that, of course, is that we gain more individuals to continue the conversation, and maybe we get to learn something and you get to learn something. Of course, Ultra Confusion, we want to promote the indie developers out there. Yes, I know as of late it doesn't look like we're doing much with the indie developers outside the massive amount of interviews that have been going up on the YouTube. And
that's a lot of stuff.
yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 more to go. They're all phenomenal games, and we want to help you. You can help us. So if there's anything that you can do for Ultra Confusion, just hit us up. All right. I know that Zealeus's timetable is telling me that he's got 5 minutes left.
Thereabouts.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to chill. If you have any topics you wanted to hit us up with, or if there's any last comments you'd like to make, just hit us up in the chat room. Otherwise, Zealeus and I, and of course, we'll involve you as well. We'll probably go back to I don't know. I think we were either MOBAs or bad movies. Seem to be the hot topic.
Bad movies.
Bad movies. Movies that are no longer watchable. I'm going to see if I can find that. Because that really pissed
You
me
want
off.
to find this chart of movies that aren't watchable supposedly?
Yeah, I want to punch someone in the
It's one of
face.
those like when you're on Facebook, it's like watch these 20 things and see what it's all about.
Yep.
Type things, yeah.
It's like, what do these people look like now?
And of course you have to click next 18 times. Next. Yeah, that pisses me off.
No, seriously, oh god, I fall for that shit every single time. You know the biggest one that I fall for? No one's been able to figure out this puzzle. Can you? I'm like, yes.
Oh yeah, I see you post those all the time.
Fuck
Wait a minute, I'm smarter than this fourth grader. No luck.
No, I just love the title. I put in, what is it, movies that are not watchable. And it's like 11 movies you should never watch with your parents. 12 movies not to watch with your parents. And then that person is not on the list to begin with. 30 horror movies that are so scary you just can't watch them. 10 movies you should never watch with your parents.
Pornos?
What was that? What was that movie? Striptease.
Yes.
Showgirls.
No. Please stop.
Barbed Wire.
My dad would watch that with me.
Oh, I'm sure he would.
He would have no problem with that. Yeah. He probably I'm sure he watched it.
Oh, I'm sure he did. But of course, I just dated myself by naming that movie.
I think it's. I wonder if it's on Netflix.
No. God, no. No, it's not on Netflix.
Have you looked?
No. I've started playing a game on Facebook. I know. Facebook games. Oh my god, what's wrong with you? It's called Mighty Party. It's actually a pretty good game. You've got you got a grid on each side, and it's kind of like a card game where you basically build a deck with units, and you release the units. You basically can play whatever units you want to every single round, but of course you can only play one unit, and then it goes basically back and forth, and you just got to be good with the way that you lay out units. Otherwise, your opponent could probably wipe out all of your units and then kill you because your hero has hit points, and once your hit points go down to nothing, you'll get it.
10 previously great movies that have dated horribly.
Okay, let's see what we
I
got
would say
here.
this list: The Magnificent Seven. I never saw the original. The new one's actually good. With Denzel Washington, it was entertaining.
I've got the original right up there.
Really?
Yeah, it's right there. It's underneath Phantom Dust.
Oh. All right, Rebecca. I don't know. Alfred Hitchcock.
That's okay. Those are way too old.
I mean, yeah, if we're talking movies from like the 30s, sure. Doctor No.
Come on, it's Bond. You're not. You just want to see who Sean Connery hooks up.
Okay,
with.
The Lost Weekend. Really? Like, say something. The Mummy from the 1930s. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I am completely stupid. Give me this.
The Gentleman's Agreement.
Okay,
Wow, this
that's
is a
ancient.
terrible.
That's like the
Yeah.
40s, right?
Yeah, when you're talking black and white movies, whatever.
I no longer listen to you if it's a black and white movie.
Wait, there's words in black and white movies?
What? Black and white movies? What?
Are you looking at your history?
Yeah. I'm like, duh.
Breakfast at Tiffany's was number 1.
Seeing that I don't know. The Great Train Robbery. That's a good one. Which one, though? Which one? Because I think there's like 3 out there.
Oh, wait, is that...
Nope.
Somewhere. Maybe.
Don't worry, I'll find it.
Was this today?
I think so. I watched a lot of shit, okay?
No, I'm not judging.
Don't judge me!
The first movie ever made.
The original.
Which means it's dated. I'm saying it's got to be dated if it's the first movie ever made.
Nah, dude, they're all great.
All the train robberies?
Well, the first 2 at least.
I don't think I ever saw them. Not gonna. What's in here? Nothing much. Look, this is very sad.
swear to God, I saw this thing.
You do a search for a movie.
That's true. Could do that. That would be too smart, Zealeus. I can't do that. That's,
10 classes that should never be remade.
nope, nope, nope. Nope. Did I not?
Alright, did you do this on your phone?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I have no idea. Sorry, can't help you.
Unwatchable? Well, shit, I'm gonna find this. I'll find this list and I'll publish it because it's gonna piss me off now. Seriously, gonna piss me off. I swear to God, it was today. Had to be. Had to be. Check it. I am looking at my browser history. I just can't. For some reason, I apparently hit a lot of clickbait sites. So I've got like popular anime is too messed up for Hollywood. Box office bombs that somehow became cult classics. Actually, you know what? Let's see.
Give another day.
Here we go. All right.
You find it?
Yep, found it.
Alright.
Great films that have not aged well.
Alright.
So basically unwatchable. Braveheart.
Oh, no. Fuck you.
Hackers.
Wow, come on. I don't like this person.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Goldeneye. The Net.
Okay, that was a pretty lame movie. That wasn't a great movie to start with, to be fair.
The Fast and the Furious.
No, sorry, they're wrong.
You've Got Mail.
Anderson.
Cellular.
Yeah, that was gonna.
The Lawnmower Man.
Well, no.
Blazing Saddles. Mission Impossible.
Okay, the first was a great spy movie. I don't care what they say.
Phone Booth.
It wasn't a great movie to start with.
Sneakers. Fuck you, dude. Crocodile Dundee.
Really?
Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, well, that's probably putting some political stuff.
Whatever. There, that was the list.
That was a.
I don't agree with the vast majority of them.
I mean, and the movies, like, some of them were like, is that really, like,
Yeah.
a great movie that didn't start with well? Yeah. That was a.
Look, Blazing Saddles is a national treasure. Found it. First list. Great movies that have not aged well. Yep.
There you go. We're all on the same page of movies that have not.
But seriously, you can't put.
We just all disagree with all of them.
You can't put some of those movies. You can't do Sneakers. I don't care what you say about that movie. It's phenomenal. It's amazing, and you cannot touch basically anything that Mel Brooks has put his hands on besides Dracula Dead and Loving It. Gold. Dracula Dead and Love It. I don't know. It's like I don't know what happened.
Terrible person.
It was a terrible movie.
All right. Well, it's about that time to go home and feed my cat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. So, without further ado, I do want you to understand that I, of course, will be back to probably play some video games a little bit later. But at this time, let me thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Ziz, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and, of course, our hearts. Will be back next Thursday to give you more of the awesomeness that we give every single Thursday. Now, of course, once again, if there's anything you want us to talk about or you have a question anytime between now and Thursday, please hit us up through any of our social media channels and we'll add it to the list.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in a free world.
Amen to that, brother.